Happy October! It's time to talk about horror movies. Now, I am going to put a list of everything I'm going to mention down in the description below, so if you want to just go straight there for all of the titles, go for it. Don't need you to sit here and watch all of this. But I will be discussing every one of these films very quickly. I'm going to pull up their synopses and just kind of give my thoughts, because I have watched the trailers, I think, for every single one of these. And let's start first on October 1st, which is today. So all of these will be available right now. And the first one is Witch Hunt. Now, this is a movie I have already seen. I saw it months ago, somehow. And this is directed by Elle Callahan, who directed the movie Head Count, which I quite enjoyed. But this one, the Witch Hunt movie that I saw months ago, that it came out today, I guess, it says see Showtimes. So maybe this is in theaters somewhere. But I think it's also on VOD. In a modern America where witches are real and witchcraft is illegal, a sheltered teenager must face her own demons and prejudices as she helps two young witches avoid law enforcement and cross the southern border to asylum in Mexico. It's okay. It kind of feels like The Craft, but nowhere near as charming. So it's not one I definitely tell you to go run to, but I didn't hate it either. I just thought it was kind of whatever. It does have Ashley Bell in it from The Last Exorcism. She's only in it for a few minutes, to be honest, so you're not getting a lot of her. And then you got Elizabeth Mitchell as the mom, who is kind of running this underground railroad for witches, if you will. And it's really mostly like a coming-of-age movie with very little horror. So, but it definitely has some to a degree, but nothing worth running to, as I said, in my opinion. So, next we have Coming Home in the Dark, which we'll pull up the actual official synopsis here. But I did watch this one. And I quite enjoyed it, but I do think that people are finding it boring. And I'll read the official synopsis here off of IMDb as soon as it loads. All right. A school teacher is forced to confront a brutal act from his past when a pair of ruthless drifters take him and his family on a nightmare road trip. That's a pretty good description. Yeah, I did like this, and you can watch my review on it. It is slower, but the acting is really good from everybody, and it's very well shot. So this is more of a thriller, to be honest, but definitely worth mentioning, and that is available right now. Next up, we have the two Amazon Prime Welcome to the Blumhouse films. We are getting 4 of those, just like we did last year. We got 4 of them. 2 are releasing today on the 1st, and 2 are releasing on the 8th. And these are full feature-length horror films brought to you by Blumhouse. Now, this one is: in the barrio of Oakwood Springs lives a strong and stubborn group of elderly friends who refuse to be gentrified. Their leader, Lupita, keeps them together as a community, a family. But little did they know, this is weird, this is like worded weirdly. But little did they know, their beloved bingo hall is about to be sold to a much more powerful force than money itself. If I remember correctly, this has Richard Brake in it. He's the guy who, Mr. Big, he's the one that owned it, or buys it. The trailer definitely wasn't doing a whole hell of a lot for me, but I am very curious about a horror movie that is primarily senior citizens. I think we definitely do not get enough of these, and I'd like to see more of them in the future. You know, I'm tired of just seeing like teenagers or early 20-year-olds. Definitely get some older cast in these horror movies. So, and one that takes place at a bingo hall, or as we see here, bingo hell. But that's October 1st. As I said, all of these will be released today. Next up, we've got Black as Night, which is the other Blumhouse movie, and it is... And we did a video doing a trailer reaction to a lot of these, but I should have said this at the beginning. I added a whole ton of things I found. I mean, probably 10 titles here that I did not have when I did the video with Christian and my fiance Kaylee. So a lot more titles in case you watch that and you're like, oh, I already know all the titles. No, you don't. There's actually a lot that I missed. And I'm sure there's going to be more that I have missed because I can't find a site that will tell me absolutely everything. So I've had to take from here and here and here and here and here. And this is the best list I could compile. All right, Black as Night. A teenage girl with self-esteem issues finds confidence in the most unlikely way by spending her summer battling vampires that prey on New Orleans disenfranchised with the help of her best friend, the boy she's always pined for, and a peculiar rich girl. The trailer for this one as well looked questionable. I actually really enjoyed 3 of the 4 Welcome to the Blumhouse films last year, with Nocturne actually making it into my top 5 of the year. I thought it was fantastic. It was a very Black Swan-esque kind of film that was just wonderful to me. So hopefully one or more of these can be good. It would be very depressing if all of these sucked with as strong as last year was. But we shall see. Another one I guess I'll mention really quick, just because I guess people consider this horror-esque, is Venom Let There Be Carnage. That's in theaters. You guys know what it's about. And you know that it is out, so I don't really need to talk about that one. All right, While We Sleep is coming to VOD. And this is after observing a hauntingly familiar abnormal CAT scan of a 13-year-old girl, radiologist Nina Ivanko battles to find the source of the young girl's sleeping disorder. What she discovers is darker and stranger than she could have imagined. Now, when I watched this trailer, I could have sworn that the girl in the movie that plays this character named Nina looked exactly like, who was it? Rebecca Ferguson from Dr. Sleep, Rose the Hat. I swore it was her. And I was like, oh, Rebecca Ferguson's in this. How cool. Nope. But the trailer looked pretty generic, but not terrible. Not sure if I'll get to that one ever, but there you go. If you're into that synopsis, you got it. I also forgot to mention, because I wrote it all over the place. On the 2nd of October, starting tomorrow, there is the Haunted Museum. Now, this one is being produced by Eli Roth, as well as, hold on, the Haunted, why is this not pulling up? The Haunted Museum. Okay. Zach Baggins. Now, this is some guy from like one of those paranormal investigation shows. I'm sure everyone thinks is full of shit. But the trailer is interesting. It's more like an anthology horror movie. And following the frightening and hellish tales behind the spooky relics on display in Zach Baggins' Las Vegas Museum by way of scripted stories produced by Roth and his accredited team, and with feature commentary from Baggins himself. Based on some museum that he has in Vegas, and these are scripted stories that are about these things, very much reminds me of the Warrens display that they have in the Conjuring universe. This sounds very, very familiar to that. But who knows? The trailer looks like it's actually well produced and has some cool things going on it. So even if it's bullshit, it doesn't matter. I mean, it's horror. It is bullshit, I'm sure. But regardless, it doesn't matter. That's what we're here for. Also, there's a movie called Ouija Japan, which is supposed to come out on the 19th on Prime. But I just checked, and it's on Prime currently. So you can watch it right now. I'll look up the synopsis really quick. I watched the trailer. I was not into it. I thought it looked pretty stupid and pretty low budget. But Karen, an American living in Japan, desperately wants to fit in and play the Japanese Ouija with her peers, unwittingly disrespecting a local deity who sets her up to fight her newfound friends in a deadly game of battle royale. So it's like all these kids are tasked with killing one another after they play with a Ouija board. The trailer looked super silly to me, but it is on Amazon Prime right now if you guys have any interest. Next up, we've got on the 5th, VHS 1994 or VHS 94. I thought that the trailer for this looked fantastic. We were really excited about it when we watched it. I had not watched it until that moment. And I am heavily looking forward to this one. A police SWAT team investigates about? Shouldn't it be investigates a mysterious VHS tape? Not about whatever. VHS tape and discovers a sinister cult that has pre-recorded material which uncovers a nightmarish conspiracy. Now this is Simon Barrett. David Bruckner is coming back as one of the writers. You also have the dude who directed The Empty Man, which was one of my favorite films of last year. You've got Timo, who directed the greatest segment in the VHS franchise and maybe horror anthology history, in my opinion. He's coming back to do this one as well. So we got a good amount of talent involved in this one, and this one will be on Shudder. So definitely check out that trailer if you haven't seen it, or just watch it and just avoid the trailer. But I was really impressed with the trailer. I thought it looked creepy as fuck, and very much looking forward to it. All right, next up on the 5th as well. Now this film is not getting released for the first time, but it is getting a VOD release, and I know a lot of people didn't get to see this when it was in theaters because it was kind of more of a little bit of a limited release to a degree, and that was The Night House, directed by David Bruckner. And this was and currently is my favorite horror film of 2021. So I absolutely adore it. It's after the death of this woman's husband. She is experiencing things at her house and, of course, is questioning him and looks further into it. That's really all you need to know. The performances from both the lead actresses are phenomenal. Everything about this film is fucking phenomenal. I adore it, and I highly, highly recommend it. Now, on the 6th, there's Someone Inside Your House. This is a Netflix film, and this one looked really cool. It's a slasher with a unique look to it because the killer wears the face of the person that he's going after by 3D printing the mask, which is really, really kind of unsettling to be hunted by yourself, or seemingly so, but with like black eyes. It looks really cool. This one's directed by Patrick Brice, who directed the Creep movies, which I just rewatched with Kaylee a couple weeks ago or last week. The graduating class at Osborne High is being targeted by a masked assailant intent on exposing the darkest secret of each victim, and only a group of misfit outsiders can stop the killings. Man, I'm really excited for this one. I think it looks super cool. I love the look of the mask. I mean, the fact that it changes in between every kill and it's the mask, it's the face of the person. I just think it's such a neat idea, and I'm really digging on it. All right, and that's on Netflix, as I said. Next up, we've got The Mutation, which looks kind of like a werewolf movie. This comes out on the 6th as well, to VOD. It kind of looks like a werewolf. It's super low budget, ultra low budget. So if you're not into ultra low budget stuff, definitely don't check this out. A mutated rat has been let loose in a city. That's all we got for a synopsis here. But I watched the trailer and it looks fun. It looks like a total low budget, self-aware. it doesn't look like comedy though. Like it looks like they're going for it here, but I think they know the kind of budget they have, and I liked the trailer. I thought while it was low budget and the acting was whatever, and some of the practicals might not be the greatest ever, I thought it was pretty cool. Like for what budget I'm sure they had, I think this rat that I thought was a werewolf at first, but clearly it's a rat. It says so in the synopsis. But it looks cool, and I'm always down to support low-budget horror. So looking forward to it. Currently has an 8.9 on IMDb, so definitely some friends have been giving some ratings here because, that's pretty high, guys. When you ask your friends to make reviews, tell them to, I don't know, maybe be a little more realistic with their reviews. I've seen some that are so funny. All right, moving on. On the 8th, we have got the two other Blumhouse, welcome to the Blumhouse, Amazon Prime films. One of them is Madres, which looked okay. It looked fairly generic. It is a Spanish film. A Mexican-American couple expecting their first child relocate to a migrant farming community in 1970s California when the wife begins to experience strange symptoms and terrifying visions. She tries to determine if it's related to a legendary curse or something more nefarious. Just from that alone, you can tell that this is not an original concept by any means, but that doesn't mean that it can't be good. Just from the trailer I saw, it looks fairly generic. And the other last Blumhouse original film of 2021, also on the 8th, is The Manor. And The Manor actually has some familiar faces, if I remember correctly. Barbara Hershey, Bruce Davidson, and was there anybody else? Nobody else's names I'm noticing. But anyway, after suffering a stroke, there you go, another older person, I like it. Judith Albright moves into a historic nursing home where she begins to suspect something supernatural is preying on the residents. Hey, that reminds me of Bubba Hotep. Except for this one isn't going to be comedy. In order to escape, she'll need to convince everyone around her that she doesn't actually belong there after all. That also reminds me of that Netflix movie, I Care a Lot, with Rosamund Pike, which is great, but fucked up, man. That was a brutal watch earlier this year, but I really did like that movie a whole bunch. All right, next we have Knocking, which was a big surprise trailer of that view that we did on our live stream recently. Now this one is labeled as a thriller, and it looks kind of like a Rosemary's Baby, Repulsion, Darling, or any of those movies that are kind of playing off that Polanski woman in a room losing her mind kind of thing. A woman leaves a psychiatric ward after a nervous breakdown only to start hearing mysterious knocking sounds in her apartment. This is totally my wheelhouse, even though I'm a huge detractor of Rosemary's Baby and I get a lot of shit for it. It's like one of the only classics outside of Scream that I genuinely just do not like. I never have, and I've tried like 5 times now, and every time I'm bored out of my mind. But I still do like movies like this, where you have a character, typically a female character, that's kind of alone in a house, and she's thinking she's hearing things, maybe seeing things, and she's slowly coming undone. And when done well, like a Saint Maud, which is one of my favorite films of recent years, it took 2 watches for that to be the truth, because it was good the first time, but I absolutely loved it the second time. I just love that. I'm all about those kinds of movies. So give me more of this for sure. Now, next up, I don't know if this is actually being considered horror here or not. I think it does have a horror label on it. It says that it is, drama, horror, mystery. Now, this is definitely one of my most anticipated movies of this year. This is an A24 film, so I'm immediately on board because I'm a pretentious prick who loves A24. And this is Noomi Rapace's Lamb, which if you've seen this trailer, you said what the fuck at some point. Me and Kaylee are both over the moon excited for this one. It looks super bizarre. Let's see what the synopsis says. A childless couple, Maria and Ingvar, discover a mysterious newborn on their farm in Iceland. The unexpected prospect of family life brings them much joy before ultimately destroying them. Now, this is a half lamb, half human. That's what you get from the trailer. Now, is someone fucking the lamb or what? I have no idea, but the trailer is amazing to me. I've seen it like 15 times and it never is not intriguing to me. It looks completely insane and it's going to split audiences for sure, but I feel like the people who are going to hate it are going to hate it going in. They're going to be like, what is this shit? And I don't think they're going to get won over by it, but maybe. All right, also on the 8th, which may be the 9th, because I heard somewhere this is the 9th, but on IMDb it says it's the 8th. And that is, and I have no idea how to say this last word, The Secret of Sinchanee, I think. The Secret of Sinchanee. Sinchanee. I have no fucking clue. But the trailer actually looks fairly promising, and I like the poster as well. An industrial tow truck driver suffering from insomnia returns to his childhood home after the untimely death of his father to discover that a paranormal presence has been living in the house and haunting the sacred land it was built on. I did like the trailer. Definitely check it out. But it looked kind of creepy and well done. And I'd never even heard of it until about 2 minutes before pressing record on this. It was one of the last ones I found. So that is another addition to this. All right, next up we've got the Chucky TV series on the 12th. This will be on the SyFy Network and USA. And what more is there to say about it? It's a Chucky television series brought to us by Don Mancini. We'll be following the events of the original franchise, not the remake. And it looks wonderful. I'm all about it. I've loved everything Chucky so far. I love all 7 films. I know I'm in the minority. I know a lot of people hate Seed, but I'm all about it. I love this trailer. I'm so on board. I am so ready. More Chucky all day. So excited to see this. I hope to see everyone back that was teased in the last 2 films. And I hope that it really does follow those movies. I can't assume anything else but that Don Mancini would continue that, because he's always stayed true to his franchise. Why would he change it now? So I have no doubt we'll see that stuff. Also, we have a movie called Haul, which I couldn't find the trailer for when we were watching it, but I realize now that I finally found it on upcominghorrormovies.com that it's a movie that I've already seen, and I saw it a while ago. I saw it maybe even in 2020, but I hated it. I didn't like it at all. I was completely not into it in the slightest. It's got Julian Richings in it from a bunch of things. Anything for Jackson. You know the guy if you've seen him. He's very, very unique face. But when a debilitating sickness spreads across a long hotel hallway, a few scattered victims fight for survival and try to escape from the dark, narrow stretch of isolated carnage. That fucking synopsis sounds much better. That sounds good. That sounds intriguing. It's like, oh no, fuck that. This is terrible. I hated this movie. Not a recommendation, but it does come out on the 12th. So I thought I'd mention it, but not a recommendation for me. All right, another one I added. I've added a ton, as you can tell if you watch this live stream I did. But all right, this one is a Netflix original. It's a drama horror mystery. It is called Fever Dream, and it comes out on the 13th. And it will tell the haunting story of broken souls, toxins, looming environmental and spiritual catastrophes, and the ties that bind a parent to a child. There's some interesting visuals in this. If she really is having a fever dream, she sees like somebody with a really fucked up face and stuff. Could be cool. I don't know. I'll definitely check it out. It's on Netflix on the 13th, and we'll see. Another one that I found that I'm actually excited for, because I'll get to watch this one with my children. How often do I get to do that with the horror genre? I still have not watched Night Books with Kristen Ritter, because we are currently watching Star Wars Rebels, but I do want to watch that with my kids as well. That's another Netflix horror film for the family. This one actually it has Henry Thomas in it, who just seems to be popping up in absolutely everything lately. But this one is called Just Beyond, and this will be on Disney Plus, and it is from the stories of R.L. Stine, so it's like a Goosebumps show. And the trailer is cool, like, it's family friendly, so it's that kind of horror, but it's like an Are You Afraid of the Dark or a Goosebumps. And genre anthology series based on the graphic novel by R.L. Stine. Totally in. Definitely watching this with my kids. It has 8 episodes, and all of them are dropping on that day, all on October 13th. So supposedly the entire series drops on Disney Plus. So there's one for you and your kids if you're looking for something spooky to watch with the kids that's new, as well as that Night Books one that I just mentioned that released back in September. All right, next up is The Medium, and this one's on the 14th, and this will be coming to Shudder. A lot of what I'm about to say comes to Shudder in this day or two. This one is just straight horror on IMDb. A horrifying story of a shaman's inheritance in the Isan region of Thailand. What could be possessing a family member might not be the goddess they make it out to be. The trailer looked fantastic. This was one I am heavily looking forward to. It looks like it is completely subtitled, which I don't have a problem with, but I know some people do. It is in Thai, so yes, it'll be completely subtitled. Maybe they'll have the dubbing option for people who like that. No judgment. But I just love the visuals. I thought it was so cool and haunting, and just seemed like something that was going to be really up my alley. I love Asian horror, although I don't like Japanese ghost horror, like The Grudge and The Ring and all that stuff, like the J-horror versions of them. The remakes I like a little more, but yeah, I don't know. There's something about that style. Even those American ones, though, I'm not a big fan of. But this one looks super cool, and that will be on Shudder on the 14th. Now, also, the same day, we've got Horror Noire, which is an anthology horror film brought to us by Black directors. Presented together 6 horror stories from Black directors and screenwriters in a single film. Daddy, Bride Before You, Brand of Evil, The Lake, Sundown, and Fugue State. I know Tony Todd's in this. Shocker, right? I can't believe it. He's never in anything. Yeah, right. But the trailer that I saw was 30 seconds long and showed almost nothing. So I don't know what to make of this. I know there was that Horror Noire documentary on Shudder as well that showed like the history of blacks in horror. But this might have some, it's on Shudder as well, so I can't imagine it isn't connected in some way, but this is something completely different. This is scripted, new content. So you got that to look forward to if that sounds good to you. Okay, another one, a big one that I missed, even though this might not be very good, I don't know, but is the I Know What You Did Last Summer TV series that starts on October the 15th and will be going to Amazon Prime. In a town full of secrets, a group of teenagers are stalked by a mysterious killer a year after a fatal accident on their graduation night. I mean, we all know the fucking story. From what I heard from people, because I didn't actually watch this trailer, what I heard from people is that it's not the fisherman outfit in this one. I don't know if we see the fisherman outfit or I mean, should I say the killer's outfit? But supposedly the killer is not wearing that, which is fine by me. I don't really give a shit because I'm not a big fan of these movies. But now, let's see. Are all the episodes dropping on the same day or not? I think Amazon Prime does drop every episode, right? Yes. All the episodes... Wait. No. Wait. Okay. So it seems that the first 4 episodes will be released on the 15th. Then on the 22nd, the 5th, and then week by week from there. Is that accurate? That's what IMDb says. Don't quote me on that, but that is what IMDb is saying. First 4 episodes and then week to week? That seems really lame. Hopefully that's wrong and it's all just one night. Either do it week to week or do it all at once. Don't release 4 half the season and then that's silly to me. All right. And also on that day is You Season 3. I only put that on here at the top because some people consider it to be horror-esque. I really like this show. I've seen both seasons. I'm looking forward to the 3rd season. I think Joe is a very interesting character. He's definitely the modern Dexter, which Dexter is also coming back. Not this month, but I don't think it is. I think it's coming out in like December, isn't it? New Blood is coming out in where's the date? I'm not seeing a date. Doesn't November 7th. Okay, so close, right after October is done. Dexter season 9. Anyway, but You season 3 will be dropping on the 15th. I'm looking forward to it, but I don't really consider it horror. Next up is Demigod, which is another Shudder original, and this is going to be on the 15th. And this is about, let's see. Upon the death of her grandfather, a woman and her husband return to her birthplace in Germany's Black Forest only to find a terrifying secret awaits them. Yeah, I don't remember this trailer. I'm looking at it right now. Oh, yeah, I kind of remember this. I don't know. It didn't do much for me. Obviously, I'm not really remembering it, so what does that say? It looks forgettable, but hopefully I'm wrong. But that is coming out on the 15th on Shudder, so I'll probably watch it because I have Shudder and I try to watch most of their originals if I can get to it. Also on the 15th, obviously the big dog of the year, the one that most people are looking forward to the most. I don't really need to say anything about this. This is Halloween Kills. Of course, all of us, well, not all of us, some people are like, fuck the Halloween franchise, whatever for them. But obviously, I'm a huge Michael Myers Halloween fanatic, and I can't wait for this. This comes out on the 15th, and it will be going to theaters as well as Peacock. So if you have Peacock, you can watch it at home, and I don't think it's an upcharge. I think it is included as well. Also on the 15th, we get the Day of the Dead SyFy original television series, which we watched the trailer for this. And while I did really enjoy the trailer for this show, and the poster is all an homage to George A. Romero, and it says like it's you know, it's supposed to be, I forget what it said in the trailer. It said something like, I'm looking at the trailer right now. It says something right in the beginning, like, in homage to, or Romero, or something along those lines. I don't know. The trailer stopped for some reason. 6 strangers trying to survive the first 24 hours of an undead invasion. It looks super fun. It looks like horror comedy, though, honestly. It looks like Return of the Living Dead more than it looks like, you know, the Romero franchise. It says inspired by George A. Romero. Okay. I don't see that. George A. Romero never really went super comedic with his films, and this looks like but it looks super fun. I thought the zombies looked really cool. I thought the production value was pretty high, and SyFy is really pumping out some super cool stuff. We got the Chucky series, we've got the Day of the Dead series, and also, that's my segue to the 16th, so the next day after Halloween Kills, Day of the Dead, I Know What You Did Last Summer, we get the Slumber Party Massacre remake, or reboot, or whatever, and this came out of nowhere. I knew this was getting made, but someone just dropped the trailer like a couple days ago, and I was like, what? And I put the trailer on, and it's a SyFy original as well. I put on the trailer expecting it to be trash. And it was gory as fuck. It looked rad as hell. It looked super 80s. It looked really badass. So, wow. I'm really, really looking forward to Slumber Party Massacre on the 16th. So, I did not know that was getting released this month. But it is, and I could not be more excited about it. We'll pull up a synopsis here really quick. A reimagining of Roger Corman's 1982 slasher film. That's all it says for a synopsis. That's fine. I'm digging the trailer. It's only 30 seconds long, and that's all it needs to be. It's got the graphic gore in it that I'm pining for. Give it to me. So SyFy Channel is really, really, up in their game for Halloween 2021. I'm really impressed. And they're all three named franchises. The Child's Play franchise, the Romero Dead franchise, and the Slumber Party Massacre franchise. So they're adding more content to three very popular horror franchises, which is pretty wild. On the 17th, we get Fear the Walking Dead Season 7's premiere. So for anyone who's watching Fear the Walking Dead, there you go. On the 20th, we've got Night Teeth, and this is a Netflix original as well. So Netflix has a good amount of shit coming. We watched this one. It has Megan Fox in it, but does not appear that she's going to be in this very much. She's in the trailer for literally like a second, and her name doesn't even appear on the poster, like in the big headline, so she can't be in this thing very much. But the trailer looks fine. It looks interesting. I'm not a big vampire fan, so I'm kind of biased, but a college student moonlighting as a chauffeur picks up two mysterious women for a night of party hopping across LA. But when he uncovers their bloodthirsty intentions and their dangerous, shadowy underworld, he must fight to stay alive. Kind of feels like a Fright Night or something. It definitely has some comedic elements to it, but it could be fun. I'll check it out for sure. But as I said, that comes out on the 20th on Netflix. All right, moving on to the 22nd, we've got Locke and Key Season 2. This is from the comic book written by Joe Hill, Stephen King's son. And I did watch this first season, and I have read the comics, and I really enjoy both. Very much looking forward to Season 2. If you haven't seen Season 1, definitely check it out, and that will let you know if you want to see Season 2. But you can look up what this one's about, because I'm not going to read a synopsis for a Season 2. All right, also on that same day, the 22nd, we have Broadcast Signal Intrusion. This trailer looked wild. This was another really surprising trailer that Christian and Kaylee and I all watched, and I was very interested. Just look at the picture on the YouTube trailer for this. That's freaky enough. In the late 90s, a video archivist, I think is how you say it, unearths a series of sinister pirate broadcasts and becomes obsessed with uncovering the dark conspiracy behind them. That almost kind of reminds me of Channel Zero's Season 1 with Candle Cove kind of, interrupting the broadcast, although that turns out to be something different, but kind of reminds me of that, and anything that reminds me of Channel Zero is definitely going to be high on my list. Very much looking forward to this one. Definitely look up the trailer if you're not sold yet, and hopefully that sells you, because it definitely did us. Also on that day, we get the meta horror film 13 Fanboy. And this is actually directed by Deborah Voorhees from Friday the 13th Part 5. And it is about an obsessed fan stalks his favorite actors from the Friday the 13th films and beyond, mirroring his idol, Jason Voorhees. So a very meta horror film written and directed by a star of one of the films, and it has the real actors in it playing themselves, scripted obviously. Corey Feldman, Kane Hodder, Deborah Voorhees as well, I'm sure, is in it. And Dee Wallace. Now, Dee Wallace, I'm assuming, is just at the conventions. Judy Aronson is in the movie, who is the best-looking girl in the Friday the 13th franchise. To me, she plays Sam in Friday the 13th Part 4. So that's really exciting to see. Lar Park Lincoln is in this damn movie. CJ Graham is in this movie. Vincent DeSanti, that's funny, is in this movie. He's the guy who directs the Never Hike in the Woods movies, the Jason fan films. And that's mostly what I'm seeing, but could be cool. And this will be a VOD release, and it on IMDb it says 22nd. Yeah, 22nd. Okay, we're good. So I have not watched the trailer on this, but I expect it to be low budget. I expect it to be like found footage style, and I'm cool with that. I think this is Deborah's. I'm actually part of her Facebook group, and this is her passion project. So fuck yeah. More power to her, and I hope it really works out for her. I'm sure the fans will blow it regardless that are in that group. Even if it sucks, they'll still be like, oh, this is amazing. I won't, but I'm not going to say it to her face, for sure. All right, next up on the 27th, or I should say on the 22nd as well, we got the Invasion TV series starting on Apple TV or Apple Plus or whatever the hell it's called. This is based on War of the Worlds, and it looks cool. I know War of the Worlds or any of those kinds of shows typically kind of get thought of as horror-esque, so I thought I'd just mention it, but Invasion on the 22nd. All right, on the 27th, we've got Hypnotic, which on IMDb is listed as a horror thriller, and it stars Kate Siegel, Mike Flanagan's wife, who just starred in the fantastic Midnight Mass, and she's a wonderful actress, so I'll definitely be checking it out just for her. I think her movie Hush and everything she's done with Flanagan is fantastic. It would be interesting to see her without him. And this is a young woman seeking self-improvement enlists the help of a renowned hypnotherapist, but after a handful of intense sessions, she discovers unexpected and deadly consequences. The trailer, from what I saw, wasn't all that interesting, but because of Kate, I'm down. I'm 100% in for her alone. So check out the trailer. All right, and on the 29th, we've come to the last stuff here. Last Night in Soho. This is Edgar Wright's new film, and this has Anya Taylor-Joy in it, which right there, you might as well just, book your seat immediately. Those two together, sign me up. She's phenomenal. He's fantastic. I can read the synopsis real quick. Last Night in Soho. The trailer is really cool. Very Italian giallo in its color schemes and whatnot. Looks cool. It looks very similar to Midnight in Paris. Woody Allen's Midnight in Paris. An aspiring fashion designer is mysteriously able to enter the 1960s, where she encounters a dazzling wannabe singer, but the glamour is not all that it appears to be, and the dreams of the past start to crack and splinter into something darker. It also has Matt Smith in it from Doctor Who, and Terrence Stamp, and Thomasin McKenzie, who I like too. So, good cast, great director, cool story, fantastic visuals. Release the damn thing already. We've been waiting forever. Next up is not horror, but it is a sequel to a horror film, and that is Army of Thieves, which is a prequel to Zack Snyder's Army of the Dead, which I didn't love. So I'm not really looking forward to this, and probably won't get to it anytime soon unless people start blowing it and saying it's way better than the other movie. Then maybe I'll check it out. But because it's attached to a horror property, I definitely wanted to mention it. All right, last two things that I am really looking forward to. And this one stars Kerry Russell. This one has been coming out forever. It is produced by Guillermo del Toro. And it is called Antlers, and it is on the 29th coming to theaters. In an isolated Oregon town, a middle school teacher and her sheriff brother become embroiled with her enigmatic student, whose dark secrets led to terrifying encounters with a legendary ancestral creature who came before them. Trailer is so cool, got such style to it. Can't wait for it, for sure. And last but not least, Paranormal Activity Next of Kin, which is being directed by the guy who directed Underwater. It's being written by Christopher Landon, who wrote 2 through 5, 3 and 5 being my two favorites of the franchise. Big fan of this franchise. And this one is coming to Paramount Plus on the 29th as well. Paranormal Activity, the Next of Kin, which I don't think we got a synopsis yet, but we do have a trailer. Plot kept under wraps, so I don't think they're going to release the plot at all, which is fine. I don't really need to know anything. The film is maybe found footage, maybe not. I can't tell from the trailer. I'm going with no, but we shall see. But that is coming straight to Paramount Plus, no theater release, which is very wild to me. But heavily looking forward to it. Big fan of this franchise. And yeah, so that's it. That's everything I could find coming out in October. Please let me know below if you found something else. I can only find so much, but I think this is a lot. I mean, what do we got? 30 fucking things here. I did my best. So let me know what you're looking forward to, what you start watching, and when you watch it. I want to know. And happy Halloween in October to everybody. I will be reviewing the majority of these soon enough.